Good evening, everybody. This is another episode of the Right One podcast. This is your host, Lenny Stockton. And like I said, we're going to get back into the nostalgic era of my era and a few other people's eras. I'm not drinking C4 today. I did earlier today, the Starburst one. But I ain't drinking them now. It's too late. It's too late in the game. What time is it here? It is 5:32. It's not really late, but I think it's a little too late to be drinking a C4. But let's get back into it, man. We're going nostalgic. So we're gonna go back into the 80s. I said I was gonna do an episode like the next day, but I decided to take a couple days off or a day off or whatever. But here's another episode anyway. So you guys remember that TV show Growing Pains with what's that name? The Seavers. The Seavers. Yeah. Yeah. Did you know that a lot of people don't know that Robin Thicke is the son of Alan Thicke, and Alan Thicke was the father, right? A lot of people don't know that in Growing Pains, uh, Kurt, whatever his name is, I think it's Kirk Cameron. His little sister was actually on Full House, Candace Cameron. Didn't know that. I think Kirk Cameron does like gospel stuff now. But another TV show from the 80s is Who's the Boss? Who's the Boss with Tony Danza and the white chick and the other white chick and Alyssa Milano, right? I know you guys remember that. Oh, you remember? Do you remember the Wonder Years with was it is it Ben Savage? Fred Savage, because Ben Savage was on Boy Meets World, and it's crazy how Ben Savage became more famous than his older brother. That's it's whatever. I know Fred Savage. Remember that movie he was in with Howie Mandel, Little Monsters. I know you guys remember that. That's Fred Savage was in that. Yeah, that was when Fred Savage was big. You know what's another good show? What was it Mama's Family? No, Mama's Family, where she was dressed up like she was old, but she wasn't old, right? And here's another one. Actually, I think Boy Meets World and what was that one? The Wonder Years both started in the 80s. I think that just Boy Meets World started in the 80s and ended in the 90s or even 2000s. I don't know. I stopped watching it. But I know the Wonder Years was a complete 80s TV show. So let's go. You know what started in the 80s too? Home Improvement. I believe Home Improvement started in the 80s. Yeah. It was mid 80s. Maybe late 80s. I don't know. Oh, remember? Okay, there was a TV show that a lot of people didn't know about, and it was called Wings. Remember Wings? It used to play on, I forgot the actual network it used to play on, but when I was watching it, it was on USA, right? And I think in New York, that was like Channel 17 when you actually had like cable. It was Channel 17, I think it was. And the guy on Wings, right? George Newbern, right? Is it George Newbern? I think it's George Newbern. Please be right, Lenny. I'm pretty sure it's George Newbern, right? He was in Wings, right? No, not George Newbern. I'm sorry. Tim Daly. Tim Daly was in Wings, right? And Tim Daly did the voice of Superman in Superman the Animated Series. And then when the animated series went over, Tim Daly didn't do it anymore. It wound up being George Newbern, and George Newbern literally sounded just like Tim Daly. That's why, like, if you get them talking together, they sound very much alike. Very much alike. Excuse me. Oh, and here's a shout out to my daughter, my oldest daughter, Lexa Stockton, right? I'm pretty sure her and her mom used to watch The Nanny. I'm pretty sure they got stuck on watching The Nanny. The Nanny. Remember Hanging with Mr. Cooper? Right? I think that was in the 80s too. Maybe that was 90s. No, that was 90s. That was 90s. Hanging with Mr. Cooper was 90s. Right? Yeah. Yeah, was it? I'm pretty sure it was 90s. Anyway, since I'm in the 90s, right? So, shows in the 90s, Martin, Jamie Foxx show, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Wayans Brothers, Living Single. That's like all the black ones, right? And then you had Sister was in there. You had, well, of course, Full House. I'm pretty sure Full House ran into the 90s. You had Family Matters. You had that whole TGIF lineup, right? Remember the commercials for the TGIF? They made it seem like it was so enjoyable to watch. remember when they would come on screen and they like the credits in the beginning, they would like go like this, and you like see their names, and they'd be like all smiling or doing something. They'd be like, and you know what? They did. What's her name? Is it the little girl from Family Matters, the daughter? Like, I don't even remember her getting written off. I just remember one episode she was there, and the next episode she was gone. I'm like, yeah, where'd she go? Like, I know she didn't have a lot of like lines and didn't have a lot of like screen time, but I remember her, and then I remember she was gone. Like, where'd she go? She was gone, and then here come Richie. I remember Richie, but I can't remember the little girl's name. That's bad. So if you guys remember the girl's name, put it in the comments, man. Put in the little girl from Family Matters, the youngest daughter from Family Matters, the one that just went away. And I think she wound up getting older and doing like adult videos and all this. And yeah, I think that's what happened to her. But yeah, she was just gone. No explanation. They didn't say like she got kidnapped or anything like that. She ain't part of our family no more. Like, you the black sheep and you got to go. I'm sorry, you ain't paying no bills in here. You got to go. I'm a cop, man. I don't make no money. And why is it Reginald VelJohnson, right, plays a cop in almost everything he's in? He was in Die Hard, he was a cop. He was in Family Matters, he was a cop. I think there was another movie or TV show or something he was in, and he was a cop or security guard or something. I'm like, well, okay. He's typecast as the overweight cop, right? So I got a question for everybody. Since we're talking about like cops, well, kind of like dad figures, really, because he was a father, but he was also a father figure to Steve Urkel, right? And a father figure to Richie, because we don't even know what happened to Richie's dad. Like, where'd Richie's dad go? Like, what was the sister's name? Thelma? Yeah, where did Richie's dad go? He just wasn't in the picture. Didn't even know his name. That's crazy. So I got a question for you guys. You guys come home, and you know these memes are everywhere. But I'm gonna say it live, right? Well, not live, but on record, right? So whose dad you going to if you get bad grades in school, in any school, college, first grade, second grade, elementary, preschool? It don't matter what school you in, middle school, high school. From the moment you start school to the moment you end school, you get bad grades. Whose dad you going to? You going to Uncle Phil? Are you going to Carl Winslow? Are you going to Cliff Huxtable? I keep messing up his name. Cliff Huxtable? Or are you going to what is his name? Oh my God, what is his name from the old good, was it Good Times? Yeah, James Evans. You going to James Evans? So who you going to? You going to James Evans, Uncle Phil, right? I'm drawing a blank. I need that C4. So James Evans, Uncle Phil, right? You going to Carl Winslow, or are you going to Cliff Huxtable? Me, personally, I think I'm gonna go to Carl Winslow, man. I think he's the safest choice. I mean, because he was stern, but he understood. Like, I think James Evans just gonna bust your ass. He gonna bust your ass. If not, he gonna yell at you so bad you gonna wish that he bust your ass. And I think Cliff, Dr. Huxtable, I think he gonna take a lot of stuff away from you. He gonna make you learn the lesson. He gonna do some stuff to make you learn lessons, and it's gonna be drawn out. It's gonna be like half the episode, right? So I'm going with Carl Winslow, man. And Uncle Phil, you know what? Uncle Phil's a judge, so he's a judge. He knows the ins and outs. He gonna make you learn a valuable lesson too, right? I think Carl Winslow is gonna be the safest bet. I think he's gonna be the safest bet, right? So whose mom you going to? If whose mom you going to if you burn up the kitchen? That's a different question. Whose mom you going to if you burn up the kitchen? Hmm? Are you going to what is her name? Are you going to nah, you know what? I ain't gonna say her name because she was beating the brakes off Janet Jackson. So I ain't gonna say her name because we all know what's gonna happen with that. Like, you look at her wrong and she beat you up from Good Times. Like, Janet Jackson was in Good Times and she had I forgot her mom's name, but oh my God, she was putting the beats on Janet Jackson. Right, so I'm not gonna say her. But whose mom you going to? Right? Are you going to Florida Evans? Are you going to Claire Huxtable? Right? Are you going to Mrs. Winslow? I can't remember her name for some reason. Yeah, I can't remember her name for some reason. You going to Mrs. Winslow? Or are you going to... Let's throw a different one in. Are you going to go to... Actually, I'm just going to leave it at 3. I'm going to just leave it at 3. No, you know what? Are you going to go to... Let's just throw this in there. Are you going to go to Peggy Bundy? Who you going to if you burn up the kitchen? I think I'm going to go to Peggy Bundy because she don't cook no way. I think you'll be more in trouble with Al Bundy than Peggy Bundy. Because Peggy ain't cooking nothing. Thank you. She's like, well, thank you. Thank you for burning up the kitchen. I appreciate it. I'm getting way off topic, right? So let's go into some 2000s shows. Let me Google some 2000 shows real quick because I'm not too sure. I think I stopped watching shows in 2000. 2000 shows. Let's see. I stopped watching shows and they had like 90210 remake. They had what is this? V. They had Brotherhood. Like, I stopped watching shows. Yeah, I stopped watching shows in the 2000s. Yeah, I think the only show. So there is one show where I've seen every single episode and I did not miss an episode. And I have all 10 seasons of Smallville. I did not miss not one episode. I was so hooked into that show because back in the day we couldn't stream nothing. So back in the day, I think Smallville came out in the year 2000. I gotta look. I think it was the year 2000 when Smallville came out. Let me Google it real quick, just to make sure. Let's see, Smallville came out in the year 2001, right? So from 2001 to had 10 seasons, 2001 to 2011, right? I did not miss an episode, and like I said, it was so bad that when Smallville came on, like I think it was like Wednesdays or Thursdays or something like that, and then they moved to Fridays. They were just moving the date, but they told us. But whatever day it was, for that whole hour, commercials and all, for that whole hour, I would lock myself in the room and don't want to be bothered by nobody. That's how bad it was when I was into Smallville like a mug, man. And if you think about it, without Smallville, there wouldn't have been no like Flash TV show. There wouldn't have been Arrow TV show. Birds of Prey was trash because that came out around the same time, and that was trash. Like, it had like one season and it was horrible. I was waiting for Batman to show up or Catwoman to show up the whole time. And the Birds of Prey TV show, no. That's why it flopped, right? But like I said, without Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum and I think it's Kristen Curick, that's how you say her last name, and Erica Durance, and even though Allison Mack did what she did to go to, whatever. She in jail now, whatever she had. I don't know, but she did what she did. And Justin Hartley and Sam Jones the third, and then what's his name? John Schneider from Dukes of Hazzard, and Laura Vanderwood and Annette O'Toole. Did you know Annette O'Toole? She played in Smallville. She played Clark Kent's mom, but in Superman, I think Superman 3, she played Lana Lang. So they kind of kept her back. And then John Glover, the famous John Glover, right? If you don't know John Glover, he has been everywhere. Like, he has been in a lot of stuff. But I'm going to give you one movie that you probably don't remember he was in. Gremlins 2. Yeah. He was the owner of that building. Gremlins 2. Yeah. Let me see. Who else was in this TV show? I used to love Smallville. I love that show. Alan Richardson was in it. The guy who plays in that show. What is that name of that show now? But he's jacked now. But he played Aquaman. Alan Richardson, yeah, he played Aquaman. And Jensen Ackles was in it too. And that's crazy. You guys don't think there's a lot of people that started on Smallville. And Aaron, and Shawn Ashmore. So the one of them, I can't remember if it's Aaron or Shawn. One of them plays. What is his name? Iceman in X-Men. I can't remember if it's Aaron or Shawn. One of them. I think the heavier set one. I think it's Aaron Ashmore. I could be wrong though. But one of them plays Iceman in the X-Men films. Let's see who you had on there. You had James Masters. You know who James Masters is? He played, I think his name was Spike in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And you had the great Lee Thompson Young. He played Cyborg. Rest in peace. You know, Lee Thompson Young. You had Phil Morris, and Phil Morris does a lot of like voiceovers for DC Comics. And he played Martian Manhunter, but he did a lot of voiceovers before this. So they kept grabbing like a lot of DC comic book people, right? And Rucker Hauer was in one of those episodes, one or two of those episodes. There was a lot of famous people, even Joe Morton. And if you guys don't know who Joe Morton is, he's the guy in Terminator 2 who was holding the bomb, Miles Bennett Dyson. Yeah, that's Joe Morton. Or he played Cyborg's dad in Justice League. But he's been in a lot of stuff too. Joe Morton's been all over the place. And here's a great pick. I personally thought for like a TV version of Amanda Waller. So Smallville picked Pam Grier to play Amanda Waller. And the person who did Amanda Waller after her, I think in live action movies, is what is that? She played in The Woman King. I forgot her name. Why am I drawing blanks? I need that C4. I'm drawing blanks left and right. This is insane. But you guys know who I'm talking about. She played in The Woman King. And she's badass. She plays Amanda Waller now. Yeah, she's badass. All right, let's move away from Smallville because I'll go down a rat hole. I mean, a rabbit hole, rat hole, anyhow. I'll go down a bunch of holes with Smallville, man. Like, I got so much information on Smallville. It's insane. It's insane. So let's go back to the 2000 shows. So I know Smallville was one of them, right? So 2000 shows. I think Buffy. I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a 90s show. Yeah, I think it was a 90s show. I think it ran into the 2000s. But did you guys know that there was a Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie with Christy Swanson? And did you know that what is his name? Paul Reubens. So Paul Reubens is Pee Wee Herman. And he was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. So if you don't remember him, he's the one vampire that he had like a goatee, and at the very end, like he got stabbed during like the climax part of the movie, but at the very end, like the end credits, he was still on the ground like That's Paul Reubens. That's the incredible Pee Wee Herman. Oh, okay. So let's see. Some TV shows was Mutant X, and I think it was like a spinoff or trying to be like something like X-Men, right? I didn't even watch it. Like I seen like one episode. Like this is stupid. I remember Witchblade. See one episode. Like I'm not watching this. 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. That was good. Right? Let's see. Whatever other Scrubs came out then. Law and Order. Criminal Intent came out in the year 2000s. And that's actually a good show. Oh, how can I forget? The Bernie Mac Show. That was actually a good show. That was a good show. Rest in peace to Bernie Mac. Let's see. You guys remember The Tick? Remember The Tick? Oh, let's go back in the 80s. Well, let's go back in the 90s real quick. Remember Quantum Leap with Sam Beckett? The guy who played him was Scott Bakula. Remember that show? Well, he was in Star Trek Enterprise, right? I think it's Enterprise. But yeah, and then they started having like reality shows like The Amazing Race was in the 2000s. And let's see what else is in here. A lot of these shows I didn't even see. The Lizzie McGuire show, Saddle Club. A lot of these shows I didn't see. I'm looking at Power Rangers, but I think Power Rangers, what is it? Power Rangers Time Force. Okay, so You guys do know that if you don't know, you about to be schooled. Power Rangers literally bit off of Voltron. Voltron just had four lions that came together. And people was driving the four lions or manning the four lions. They came together and formed one big robot, right, called Voltron. And they pulled out a sword, and they would go in clang, and then the sword would come out like that, right? So I don't care what nobody says. Power Rangers bit completely off of Voltron, except that they didn't have lions. They had other animals, but they still did the same exact thing. They was manned by five people, right? And then they joined together and formed one big robot, and they had a sword too. Come on, you can't tell me they didn't bite off that. Only difference, the only two differences that like the Power Rangers actually like fought, like they would go morphin time and they would fight, but the in Voltron, the people who was manning the vehicles, like manning the lions, they didn't fight. They just instantly got in the lions because they was in like outer space. Like I'm getting in my lion and I'm fighting in my lion. Like I am not about to fight this like this. She ordered because that's because the bad guy was automatically bringing out like big monsters. Like how you gonna fight a big monster? And you don't have like what did Power Rangers have? What were they called? Putties. They didn't have putties. They didn't have that. They didn't have like cronies they had to fight. They had to fight monsters instantly like that. I think her name was Helga or Haga or something like that. She was not playing. She was trying to she was trying to kill him off the bat. Like I'm finna bring out this big monster off the bat, and it's gonna be a different monster every time I come out. But then Power Rangers completely bit off of that. But I remember Voltron had the Voltron. Like there was cars. I think there was a bunch of cars too. And I didn't really watch that one too much. I just know there was a bunch of cars after that. Yeah. And then so let's go back into the 2000s. Well, you know what? You know what's the long? Yeah. I took a picture of this the other day, right? So the longest running reality show, if you think about it, is Cops. Cops came out, and I think it was like the early 80s or even late 80s, mid 80s, but Cops came out, right? I don't even know if it's still on. I have no idea. But I took a picture of it like I was just flipping through like what was the Roku TV, I think it was. And I was flipping through and it said Cops. And the start date was like 2000 and the start date was like let's just say 1989. The start date was 1989. The end date was 3007. Cops is never going away. I think Roku TV messed up. I think it's supposed to be like 2007 when it shit went off, but I don't know because I don't watch TV. I just stream everything now. So, or I'm at work, or I'm going home. Like I don't, I don't watch TV anymore. I watch movies. I don't even watch the news. So. I guess I'm a boring type of dude. Don't drink. Don't smoke. Don't go out. Be in the house chilling. Watching TV. Sometimes I play the PlayStation until I get bored with that. I'm just throwing a movie on and watch the movie until the movie watches me. But you guys let me know. I'm going to get off this, right? But you guys let me know. Anybody and everybody let me know if you want to be a special guest on my podcast. So put it in the comments if you want to be on it, right? And then I'll send you instructions on how to be on my podcast, whether it be audio or whether it be video. It's like a video live chat or something like that. But you guys let me know if you want to be on my podcast. And my podcast is literally about anything and everything. No subject, no topic can like not be talked about. We can talk about anything you want. We can go over it before. It doesn't matter. But if you want to be on my podcast, just let me know. It's all good. It's all good if you don't want to neither, because I'm going to still put them out, and I'm going to flood you guys. I'm probably going to do one. I'm going to try. I can't promise, but I'm going to try to do one at least 3 to 4 times a week. I want to do it every night, but sometimes your boy just be tired, man. I be tired. I'm old. Shit. My body weary. But I'm going to get off this, man. And then I'll see y'all when I see y'all, man. You guys be easy. Everybody on the East Coast, y'all getting a ton of snow. Y'all be safe out there, man. Over in Arizona, man, we getting a bunch of rain. And y'all be safe out here in Arizona. Matter of fact, y'all be safe in any state that you live in, any country you live in. Be safe because this world is actually crazy, right? So I'm going to get off here and I'm going to holler at you guys. This is Lenny Stockton with the Right One Podcast. And I'll see you when I see you.